Tutorial I will be going over animated objects and interactions. I'm gonna be experimenting on this toad's behavior ID 0. So first off, if we want an interaction object, we will need to start the behavior with 04 instead of 09 like last time, or 06 or 08, all of them work. We want something like this. The 4 is to make it calculate the distance from Mario. Some interactions need that. Like if you put that one to 4, the distance gets calculated. The 1 is so the visual position and the rotation updates. Then we need a collision size. To determine the collision size, we need the to3 command or the to_b command. We can choose which one. There's actually another alternative that is kinda tricky. Maybe one of you can find out what it is. I won't tell for now, so you can guess, because it's kinda funny. So I will use a size like this. I could have also used this one. This does something else to 208, but I don't really know what it does. I mean, I've never seen it get read out by the game, so I assume it does nothing. Then we will need an animation command that is 2726, this one, and we will need to find the animation pointer. So let's go into the behavior scripts file and search for Toad. It uses this one, so let's copy that over. Now we need to actually animate him. Like this one just stores the pointer. The 28 command executes the animation part. The second byte is which animation ID to use. So this is the Toad at the end. This uses 00, but that is the walking away animation or something stupid like that, and I want them to stand on the spot. So I'm gonna use the regular Toad behavior, which uses 06. Also, when the Toad walks away, his collision box is still at the point where he actually stands. So his animations don't actually influence his physics. So Toad is a transparent object. Like when you go far away, you can see how it gets transparent. And by default, objects have 0 stored to their transparency value. So we will need to higher his transparency value, otherwise we won't be able to see him. Transparency is at 17C. So we need to use 103D. FF means full transparency, even though this is a 4-byte value, it doesn't really make sense. The devs were stupid at this point. And then we need a loop. We need to enable this interaction with the 01 command. We need to store 0 to this point. Otherwise it will be FFFF, which is -1, and the game interprets that as don't give this object interaction. And we need to reset the value at this point, otherwise you will only be able to touch some interactions one time. Because this holds the value about how Mario has interacted with the object. And often the game wants Mario to not interact with it again until the object that it belongs to resets it. I'm not gonna explain how I calculate these again, I've done that in the last tutorial. If you can't remember, you should really rewatch that again, because behavior scripts use that a lot. So now add the behavior. I forgot to set the actual interaction type. So the interaction type uses command to_f. Ignore this part, this is for the ASM we will be doing in a later tutorial probably. We need this. Let's say we wanted to electrocute Mario, then we will use the 2F00 and then this off. Let's put this in front of the loop. Just here. And now we should have an animated Toad that electrocutes us. Yeah, but it doesn't deal damage yet. We need to store something through his interaction parameter. which is here at 180. So for that one we use the 0138 with whatever damage we want him to deal. Let's say 4 damage, and put it somewhere in front of the loop. So this is kind of a pointless behavior, but for example you can combine those commands with something else. For example, you can do all of this plus the 04 command to save space on the bob-ombs. Or talking objects, not the bob-ombs. For example, you want a talking Mipster rabbit. So you will... Let's first go into the Mipster rabbit behavior. This is all of this. This pointer. 06015624. It doesn't really say which animation he uses, so we just assume it's 0 because it most of the time is. Often the animation is set within a 0C command rather than a 28 command, because a 0C command can do everything because it calls ASM obviously. So let's go into the pink bob-omb behavior and copy all of this stuff that we don't want to be different. Like, we don't need this because that's defined later in that behavior. We don't need the 28 command. We need a 04 command to jump to 31 EC. So now what this will do is it will put the rabbit animation and then jump to 31 EC to this point. And now we should be able to give this behavior to Mipster rabbit model, and it should be able to talk to us without looking weird, glitchy. Like, I've seen hacks that just put him there with all those glitchy animations, and it was horrible. They really don't want anyone to do that. Let's see, where's Mips? Oh, here. Yeah, that's kinda weird in Toadstool. Capital letters don't sort alphabetically for some reason. Yep. Works perfectly.